So we're gonna set up our beds. Let us spread this out and we'll show you what we're gonna do next.
Cold manure.
What's a cold manure, Pawpaw, Sammy?
Cold rabbit or goat. You can put it straight on your plants, it won't burn them. Chicken, horses, cows, dogs, cats, people, it will burn them.
That's right. So
Now
this is,
soldier fly, rabbit manure full of worms.
that's right. Now you're gonna see,
Look at the worms wiggling.
yeah. All right, so this right here is what we're talking about. This is a soldier fly larvae. They are composting larvae, all right? Your chickens will love you. Your quail will love you. All they're gonna do is turn into a fly, guys. And the flies don't bite. They don't bother you. Today's video is simply going to be an updated video on how the beds are doing now that we've added about 10,000 more worms to each side of this bin. So let's just talk about the bin real quick. The bin is only this deep, right? From here to here. Not very deep. That's only about a foot, right? 12 inches. So if you look inside the bin, you've only got about 3 inches of material, right? Now what I can do, guys, is come back with bedding on top. And bedding would be shredded paper, shredded leaves, shredded cardboard, grass clippings. But if you're going to use grass clippings, please make sure that they are already partially brown so they don't overheat your bins, okay? You don't want to burn your worms. You can even put used coffee grounds on top as bedding. Now you can see I've got one worm here, one worm there, but not a lot of activity trying to leave the bin, right? If your worms are consistently trying to get out of your bin is set up incorrectly. Now, everybody's environment is said that. You have to understand red wigglers, composting worms, need to be in shallow bedding. They work better anywhere from 2 inches to 8 inches. That is ideal for them. All right, they are leaf dwellers. They are epigeic. They are not earth-dwelling worms. You must understand the livestock that you are dealing with. You have to be able to problem solve your worm bins because you are going to face problems. All right, so one thing that we do here is we live in Southeast Louisiana, which is in the southern United States. It is extremely hot at this time of year. We're getting heat advisories of 115 degrees. The humidity, extremely high. So one of the things that I do is I use cardboard or newspaper and I put it on top of my bin. Now what this is going to do, guys, it's a twofold reason, all right? So as the moisture in the bin, if it becomes too high, this acts as a wick and it will absorb the too much moisture, which can kill the worms. If I pull back this plastic tarp and all of this on top is dry, then that is an indicator to me that I don't have enough moisture in my bin. So this is a visual moisture monitor for me. I run a 2-acre farmstead. I don't have enough time every day to be out here trying to figure out if my beds are wet enough or moist enough or not moist enough. So the paper is an indicator that my beds are doing well. It'll even indicate if this side is wet and this side is dry, then I can mix the materials back and forth, put the paper back down, and now I have got my beds evenly moistened. It is also a food source. As they eat the food, the organic matter underneath the paper, they begin to eat the paper and convert that into vermicompost. Now, let's see if we can find us a nice big pile of worms for you guys to see. Let's see. I put some food in here for them the other day. All right. Let's see what we've got. Oh, here we go. See, they like it in 100% dark, right? Look at that. Beautiful worms, all right? Beautiful worms. So they're integrating quite nicely into this bin. They really are. Let me put the paper back down. Let's see if we can find a big pile. All right, here we go. What I've got here is a whole lot of worms in this corner. All right, now these are super large bins, and I tell everybody, there they are. They like to get where there's a lot of organic matter, you see? A lot of organic matter available to them in this corner, and they enjoy that. But I tell people, I have really large bins, all right? For whatever reason, so how we set up some materials we had at the time, I have found this to be my most successful type of bin. Maybe it's different where you are, where you live. You might, have your bin set up totally different. But I like this type of bin. I feel like I'm giving my worms plenty of space to move back and forth. Now, I want to talk to you guys about this plastic tarp. If you notice, the tarp is moist. See the moisture on my hand? Look at that. Ready? Look at the moisture. All right, so Louisiana is very humid. No, thank you. Now, normally I would freak out about what she's doing, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Since we have gotten Killer the Barn Cat, we have no longer had a problem with mice or rats in our bins, and we thank her for her service to our farm. If you're gonna worm form, you're gonna have predators to these worms coming for them, all right? Because they are livestock. So wherever you put them, whatever system you put up with, you're gonna eventually have to deal with pests. But we digress. Let's get back to the tarp. This tarp keeps the humidity in our bins high. So as the moisture comes up from the bed through the paper and begins to rise with the heat, this tarp traps that moisture and drips it back into the bed, basically bringing the humidity between 60 and 80%, which is ideal for red wiggler forms, all right? Now, I know I've seen a lot of people online, and basically they are doing their bins open, right? They have an open bin set up. Oh, he dried out. He got out somehow. And that's cool, If that works for you, if that works in your environment, great. I'm glad. Here, my bins dry out way too fast without this plastic tarp. You see how nice and moist that is? You guys just saw me pull it back. Look at how moist, right? It's not wet. It's definitely moist. Look, I've got worms on top. That is phenomenal. Look at this. So this bed is really healthy. I always have one bed that just thrives a little better, and I can say in all honesty, it is always this bed. The more worms on top of your bin, the healthier the bed is, right? Because they're leaf dwellers. They should be on top. All right, so these guys are close to where I put the food pile, and they are liking it. Sorry, I didn't mean to mess with you guys too much. Let you get back to your breakfast. Now, for my bedding, I use a lot of shredded leaves and rabbit manure. And I'm going to be honest. Look down here, all right? Do you see this? You see that? That is a black soldier fly larvae. It came in with the rabbit manure. It is not going to hurt my bins. They do eat a ton of organic matter, and they're going to eat it much, much faster than the red wigglers. So if you do have a few of these in your bin, you need to make sure that they are not competing for nutrients, because your worms will lose, right? That black soldier fly is going to win. He simply is. It's how he was made. because once he becomes an adult, he does not have a mouth. So he must eat everything he can while he's in his larva stages. Now, I don't mind them. I actually grow them across the farm in a different system for our chickens. But if you raise rabbits, you're going to see those. And if you put rabbit manure in your bin, they're going to transfer. So don't freak out when you see it. It's not a problem. They're not going to eat your red wigglers, right? They're not in there that long before they turn into adults. Yeah, so I'm liking this bin. I'm really feeling like I'm seeing a lot of worms on top, which is a good indicator that this bin has the right acidity. Let's look at our temperature. I always leave a temperature gauge in here. It's like 82 degrees. That is perfect. All right, if your bins get over 100 degrees, you're gonna start cooking your worms, guys. You're gonna start cooking them. Here is the freezer storage bin setup. Let's see how these guys are doing. I've never done, ooh wee. Look at, let me move back so you can see them. Look at the, well, the shadow, sorry. The lighting in here is not that great. Watch this. Look at that. So these guys are in a much more compacted space, but they seem to like it. So, you know, maybe compacted spaces work. I mean, that's what I'm doing. That's what I tell you guys. Like, you don't have to worm form like I worm form, and I don't have to worm form like you worm form, right? We can all worm form however we have to in our environment. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful. These guys are very happy. So I tell you guys all the time, you know, 100% they like it dark. That's what this cardboard right here is for. It'll fold back down. I'll put back up the screens that we have on top to keep the rats out, because here in Southeast Louisiana, anything outside has to compete with rats. I mean, look at the worms in that. That's beautiful. Very light, very fluffy. Wow, that's nice. So here's a couple of tips for you if you're going into worm forming. Food is bedding. Bedding is food. Your bins need to be moist. They don't need to be wet, nor do they need to be dry. You can worm form in your home, outside, or in a shop, but you must protect them from natural predators. So we have a barn cat that chases down mice and rats that would like to get into our bins when we feed, right? Because you're putting organic matter, like fruits and vegetables, in your bins. What normally outside would break those products down, guys? Roaches, rats, snails, all kinds of critters. So if you're in a shop with a big door like this, and you're surrounded by woods like I am, your best defense is her. All right? So I tell people all the time, you have to work with what you've got, but you have to be realistic with the fact that you may lose some of the population of your worms to ants and other nonsense. Thank you guys so much for rowing in our boat and letting us row in yours. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more information on worm forming in whatever environment you're in. If you've got questions, ask them, guys. Because I tell you what, this is a great income for our small farm, but it is also, and I know this may be controversial, a lot of people say worm castings are not fertilizer. But since I make my worm castings from the organic matter of my garden and the rabbit manure off my property, I feel like when I add my worm castings back to my 1/4 acre market garden, that I get more of a fertilizer feel from it than I do just a soil amendment. So it does matter what you feed your worms. The better you feed the worms, the better the manure, the better that what you're growing grows. Because we pulled a 41-pound watermelon out of this patch the other day. Guys, this has only ever been fertilized with compost we make here, with worm castings that we make here, and with rabbit manure. it grew a 41-pound watermelon in our second year of no-till. You can do it. We're doing it. You can do it. God bless you. Please like, comment, and subscribe.